What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's daily devotional, man. And we're going through the book of John. We are in chapter 12, verse 25 through 26. And we're seeing Jesus speak about the hour that has come. We're reading about the finally, right? Finally, we've seen previously all these times it says his hour had not yet come, his hour had not yet come. But now Jesus proclaims that the hour has come. And we've seen what this hour means. It is his death and it is his resurrection. And so Jesus is about to fulfill all that he is supposed to by bringing the sons and the daughters of God together as one. And so how does he accomplish this, man? And what does this mean for us? That's what we're going to talk about a little bit today, is what does this mean for us? So if you haven't yet, go ahead and read John chapter 12, 25 through 26. Stop the tape, check it out, see what it has to say, come back, we'll answer 4 questions. If you've already read it, then let's jump in and see how we can trust in Jesus more through reading about the character of Jesus. And so what's going on? What's happening? That's the first question, man, in 25 and 26. Well, Jesus continues on what he said earlier about unless a seed dies and then goes into the ground, then it won't bear much fruit. And so we saw through that suffering is the path to glorification, that Jesus suffers in order for him to be glorified. Now he's going to receive the same glory again as he's already had from the very beginning, because he's God. And so he receives glory no matter what. But we're going to see an example of how we're to do it, because he says after that, if anybody loves his life, he's going to lose it. But if someone hates their life in this world, then he'll keep eternal life for himself. I don't want to talk about that dichotomy. It's not so much that you hate your life, but I like to think of it as that the love that you have for the Lord, the love that you have for Jesus is so far eclipsed that it may seem like hate to the world. But I think a better example is the Hebrew idea, because remember, we're reading and studying these things from a Hebraic brain and the culture that they have back then. And a lot of times how they describe things to show the difference or the vast span between them was to use dichotomous statements. And what that means is to use two things that are wholly separate. And so it is not that they would hate this, but they want to show the contrast in such a way that you would recognize it's going to be a big chasm between it. And so Jesus uses this in his example to the people as he talks to them, that if you love your life, you're going to lose it. That if everything is bound up and found in your own self, you'll end up losing it, man. But if you hate it, if everything in this world means nothing to you, then you will keep it. And if nothing in this world means anything to you, then what is it that we're supposed to do? Well, he continues on and he talks about what it means. It says to be a servant of Jesus. It says, if anyone is my servant, then he follows him. And it says, and where his servant is, there he will be. And so I think this right here is we should recognize, like, wherever he is, that's where his servant will be. So whatever Jesus is doing, that's what we're going to be doing. Wherever Jesus has placed himself, that's where we will place ourselves. And so it goes back to this idea of what Jesus was talking about as being a seed that dies and then bears much fruit, that the path to his glorification was through the suffering. It also means that our path to our glorification is through suffering. Because you see the next step, it says that God the Father will honor his servant. God the Father will honor his servant. And what it is to be honored by God, right? What it is to have this, especially in this time where there is a huge honor shame culture in which honor is the greatest status and shame is the worst. And he's saying that the Father of heaven, the creator of all the universe, will honor those who follow Jesus. But following Jesus isn't easy, man. I know sometimes in this day and age, we talk about how it's easy. You just gotta give your heart to him. You just gotta let him enter into your heart. But Jesus is saying that this is difficult because you must die. And he said it in various ways, in different ways, throughout the Gospels. It says, take up your cross. It says that you can't even bury your father and your mother. It says all of these things, and you have to read them in context to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. But those things are very difficult, hard things that have to be done. They have to be shown and displayed. And he says it here, that you must hate your life in this world. You must follow him in the path, as a servant, in the path of suffering. But in doing so, we reap the honor of the Father. So what does it say about God? First, I want to just start on the honor part, is that God, the Father, honors us. Man, he puts us up on a pedestal. We get the trophy, man. We get to be seen as great and mighty. And I know this is kind of, it seems self satisfying, and in a way it is, man, because God desires for us to be joyous, to be happy, and to be enthralled or excited about the things that He is doing for us. So that's a great thing, that we are being honored by the Father. That's awesome, man. But also, I think what we see here is that God is our great example, that it is Jesus who first has done these things. And He's not requiring for us to do anything that He Himself has not done. See, that's the sign of a great leader. And all these TV shows, movies, books, things that we read, poems and all this stuff, man, what happens is that we find these great heroes because they are doing the things that they say that we should do. And that is exactly the example that Jesus has shown. He has done. And so He asks us to follow. Not into something He hasn't, but in the example that He has set. What's this say about man? Well, I think it says first off that we're going to be with Jesus. I don't only think that when He says where I am, that's where my servant will be, is about suffering. I don't think that is the only thing it's about. I think that's a primary component of it, because it is walking in and continuing in the understanding of what Jesus has been talking about. But I also think it means that we're going to be with Him in glory. We're going to be with Him in the kingdom, praising and joyously dancing and filled with awe and wonder of who He is. That's where we're going to be with Him, because it says the Father will honor us, man. And I think that's a part of that honor, is getting to be with Jesus. And I think it's also saying that true life is found with Jesus, that we're not going to be able to fully, we're not going to be able to be filled fully unless we're with Jesus. That's why it says, man, if you love your life, you're going to lose it. If you love your own life, if you seek to, if you seek to find fulfillment in yourself and the things of this world, you will never find it. You will never find it. But if you hate this life, and what that means is being a servant of Jesus, if we follow Him, then we will keep life forever. We will find a life. And in this book, we see that life is about having that relationship with Jesus, being completely found in Him. That's what we'll have. How do we apply these truths to our lives, man? I think the thing is, where do we find our life first? Where do we find our hope, peace, joy, fulfillment? In the things, the substances of this world, or in Jesus? And then finally, where are you? Where are you sacrificing? Where are you looking to seek the glory of God despite the struggles that it may place you in? Just take a look at your life and examine that, man. I appreciate you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.